Hello.
Then, now,
Bow down to the queens.
Episode number 500.
forever,
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
together.
let's jump straight into the show. Well, hello. Welcome to episode number 100 and, I believe, 39 of the TEW9 Challenge Run. We are here for Monday Night Raw, April 21st, 2025. It is the Raw after WrestleMania. The goals, as I record this, I haven't sorted them out and gone through them all yet, but I will have by the time this is uploaded. Same thing, I will be going through the Slammy stuff, and that'll probably be up at some point after Raw as well, but I also another thing I haven't really gone over yet. But yes, it is the Raw after WrestleMania with a lot of changes made to the status of Monday Night Raw. We've got a new WWE Champion in Chad Gable. We've got a new WWE Women's Champion in Bianca Belair. New World Tag Team Champions in Fraxium. We've got a new Women's Intercontinental Champion, Tiffany Stratton. We've got New Millennium is still the Women's Tag Team Champions. And of course, a new Intercontinental Champion, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, is the Intercontinental Champion after beating John Cena at WrestleMania. And tonight also marks the start of the transfer window, where we can see people from ECW, SmackDown, Raw, NXT, all of them. You know, it's open season to trade and work out deals with the other GMs to get who you want on your show. And we're going to see a couple of the first changes made to the rosters here tonight, but of course we're not going to finalize them all for a while yet. But yes, there has already been some movement, as we'll see tonight. Without any more further ado, though, let's jump straight into the show. Triple H is in the ring to kick off the show. And he goes, Las Vegas, welcome to Monday Night Raw. He goes, now, 24 hours ago, the world stood still. The entire eyes of the world fell on this very city. They fell on Allegiant Stadium. They fell on 2 nights of WrestleMania. And among everything else, a lot of eyes saw greatness. They saw great moments. They saw championship changes. They saw classic matches. They saw the world of wrestling change before our very eyes. But one thing everybody watching Monday Night Raw had their eyes on most was the main event of last night's show. A champion who's held up this program for a long time, looking to keep a hold of his iron grip against a man tasked to save Monday Night Raw. When I came here last week and I was face to face with both CM Punk and Seth Rollins, I said loudly and I said definitively that I would stand here and introduce the one true WWE champion coming out of WrestleMania. And well, here he is. Out comes Chad Gable, championship around his waist, suit on, he's looking like a world champion. He's smiling his ass off. He's probably slapping hands with fans, sarcastically on his way down. And he gets into the ring, he shakes Triple H's hand, he takes the mic. And he goes, I told you all I'd hate to come out here, it's the Raw after WrestleMania. I know how things work around here. I'm supposed to come out here, and you're all supposed to serenade me with cheers and chants of "You deserve it, you deserve it." I know I deserve it. That's why I've got it, okay? I deserve it, and I have it because of my master plan. You see, last year, Seth Rollins, he took a lot of the flack for the things he was saying about CM Punk, but he wasn't the only person. I also called out CM Punk for the evil mastermind that he was. CM Punk, he helped me open my eyes, and I was true on the course to eliminate CM Punk, and I tried to buddy up with everybody from Cody Rhodes to Seth Rollins himself, and that's when I realized I don't need anybody else's help. I can save Monday Night Raw all by myself. All I need to do is to make sure they don't see it coming. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all of you around the world watching can answer this question because we all know the answer to it. What is the one thing that motivated CM Punk more than anything upon his return to WWE? It wasn't being WWE Champion, it was main eventing WrestleMania. He came back in the Royal Rumble last year because he wanted to main event WrestleMania. He kept his iron grip on that championship because he wanted to main event WrestleMania, and that's when I knew CM Punk, this man who I knew was a snake, this man who I knew was toxic and needed to be cut off, he was going to do whatever it took to make it to WrestleMania. And if that was the case, so would I. The second my hands reached up that ladder and grabbed that Money in the Bank briefcase, I knew what my destiny was. My destiny was to keep a hold of this championship and keep a keen eye on CM Punk. Lurk in the shadows and let CM Punk know that I'm around, and let him know that I know what he is. So that when the time came, I could step up, save Monday Night Raw, and be the hero the Jew people all need. No need to thank me. Oh, though you probably should. But thank you for being so useful in my quest for the championship. Now, Seth was where a spanner got thrown into this plan, because Seth, he came back at that Royal Rumble at the request of Triple H, and Triple H's hand-picked guy is the guy who's going to save WWE. But let's be honest, we all knew Seth Rollins wasn't going to win. We all knew Seth Rollins didn't have it in him, so once Seth came back and he won the Royal Rumble and he chose CM Punk, it was written in stone that Chad Gable would cash in Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, save Monday Night Raw, and become undisputed WWE Champion. But, Chad Gable, you mastermind, you smart son of a bitch, I hear you ask. CM Punk 2 weeks ago, he came to this ring and he called me out. He said, "Gable, I know what you're going to do. You're going to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania. I see you scheming." And for a while, I'm not going to lie to you, this is honesty hour with the new WWE Champion, okay? I'm going to open up and say that I was a little bit concerned that Punk did have a contingency plan. Because, Punk, he had the antidote that could go up there and help him for that main event, and he expected me. He saw Chad Gable coming. That's why I said the following week, I played it up. I played right into his hands and into your hands, and I said that, I wasn't going to do it anymore because Punk was going to see it coming. That was a lie. That was never the case. I just needed CM Punk off my trail, and then this idiot, after winning night one, decides he doesn't even want the antidote's help in the main event, allowing me to slide in, cash in Money in the Bank, and leave as WWE Champion. So to CM Punk, to Seth Rollins, to Triple H, and to everybody who helped make this a reality, thank you. Out comes Cody Rhodes. He goes, "So, Las Vegas. Chad. Gable. What do you want to talk about? Now, of course, I know exactly what I want to talk about. I know what I need to talk about. Because WrestleMania didn't go so well for me. I put my body, my heart, and my soul on the line for the good of this brand. I took that fall. I ate Bronson Steiner's spear into my ribs, and I lost the match for myself and for Seth. But for the greater good, because in the reality of things, that match only mattered if Seth Rollins could get the job done, and not so if Seth Rollins can get the job done, more so that CM Punk doesn't leave WrestleMania as WWE Champion. And I told Seth that after WrestleMania, I would come to the ring and shake the hand of the new WWE Champion. And well, Chad, I'm nothing if not a man of my word. And he extends his hand out to Chad Gable. And Gable just laughs at him and goes, Cody, I see what you're doing here. I see what you're doing here right now. Okay? Trying to position yourself up as the good guy, when in reality, you're no better than Seth Rollins was, okay? I wouldn't have had to cash in at WrestleMania if you could do your job and stop CM Punk at SummerSlam, or stop him again at the Royal Rumble. You failed just like Seth failed, and you failed at WrestleMania, and it all means nothing. Because your boy Seth Rollins, who you protected and you put all your investment into helping win this WWE Championship, couldn't get it done. But Chad Gable could. Cody goes, that's fine, Chad. You know, enjoy this great moment in your career. I'm not looking to do anything of the sort like steal your moment away from you here, because you have earned this moment after all these years of being that overlooked superstar. You'll finally get the chance to shine bright on your own at the top of Monday Night Raw, Chad. But I will ask you a question, since you're a very intelligent man. You seem to have got all this figured out, all this thought up in your head. You have thought about what's next, right? Because pulling off the heist of the century #2 is one thing. But when Seth Rollins did that, he held that championship for 7 months until he was forced to relinquish it due to injury. Are you gonna hold that championship that long, Chad? Or did you not think of that this far ahead, when I'm and many other people here on Raw are staring at you, through you, at that WWE Championship now that it is back, property of Monday Night Raw, and thinking, man, it sure would be great if the American Nightmare was once again WWE Champion. That's when Jay White's music hits. He goes, I know that ain't Cody Rhodes, right? In that ring, that's not Cody Rhodes squaring up to the new WWE Champion. Cody, this is exactly what I was saying about you, and despite the fact that I won, the people still don't see that I was right about you, because Cody Rhodes, you're coming in here not off 1, but 2 back-to-back pinfall defeats at WrestleMania. But yet, because you're the American Nightmare, you're Cody Rhodes, you're already squaring up to the WWE Champion, teasing that you want the next shot. Cody, if you want a shot at that championship, you've got to get to the back of the line, because losers aren't rewarded with championship opportunities. You've got to earn those, and as far as I can tell, Cody Rhodes, you losing 2 matches at WrestleMania doesn't make you a #1 contender. It makes you bottom of the barrel. Now, if you want to look at somebody who is a true #1 contender, and somebody else who Chad Gable should fear just as much as Cody Rhodes, if not more so, because I proved I'm better than he is, it's the King Switch, it's Switchblade Jay White. Back-to-back WrestleMania victories put this conniving politician in the dirt, and Chad Gable, congratulations, You're the main man around here now. But the king switch, regardless of who walked out as champion, whether it was you or Seth or CM Punk, I was gonna gun for your ass. So, Chad, look past Cody Rhodes all you want. I sure as hell am after WrestleMania. Because that championship's only got one man's name on it, and it's not the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. It's barely even Chad Gable. It's Switchblade Jay White. So yeah, Cody, he did say he was going to shake the hands of the new WWE champion. We said that he never said Seth's name. It was only ever, the new WWE champion. But yes, already tension, because again, Jay White is kind of right here. Cody, despite, him being Cody Rhodes, he did lose twice at WrestleMania. So, where does he get off trying to jump the queue like that? We then cut to Bobby Roode in the GM's office, and he's having a chat with Angelo Dawkins, about the transfer window, and he goes, I want to keep you around after your big victory at WrestleMania, what will it take to keep Angelo Dawkins as part of the Raw roster? And he goes, fam, I'm just doing my thing around here. I'm going to be honest, Bobby, I ain't got no plans of leaving Monday Night Raw. And he goes, that's great. I'll talk to you during the week to try and, lock that in and, make sure you stay. And then Chris Jericho walks in with the girls of the Learning Tree. And he goes, hi, Bobby. Hi. And he goes, how can I help you, Chris? He goes, hi, so first of all, thank you so much for inviting me and the Learning Tree girls to Monday Night Raw. I know you really, really wanted us, and I was happy to leave that terrible show, Friday Night SmackDown, but there was one thing you promised me that I couldn't reject to come here, Bobby. You saw WrestleMania last night, right? He goes, of course. You saw the disgrace that unfolded. I accepted John Cena's open challenge, okay? I went out there to become the new Intercontinental Champion. I didn't get my shot. Why? Because some TikTok fan jumped the barricade and put his hands on Chris Jericho. So, Bobby, now I'm here on Monday Night Raw since you needed me on the show so much. You made sure to get a deal done day one of the transfer window to sign Chris Jericho. What I need is my rightful shot. What I need is my chance to become the 10-time Intercontinental Champion, the shot that I was robbed of on WrestleMania last night. Give me Okada. And Bobby Roode goes, you want Okada? You got him. Tonight, in his Monday Night Raw debut, Kazuchika Okada defends the Intercontinental Championship against Chris Jericho. Then cuts to Gorilla, and Kathy Cole is with the new Women's Intercontinental Champion, Tiffany Stratton, Anne-Marie Porter, and Mariah May. She goes, Tiffany, congratulations, WrestleMania, your very first WrestleMania, and now here you stand as the new Women's Intercontinental Champion, your first piece of championship gold in your WWE career. She goes, it's been a long time coming, Kathy. Since I came to Raw or came to SmackDown 2 years ago, all I've ever wanted was for this place to revolve around me. And that's not just for me, that's for the betterment of the entire place. Because when the entire place runs on Tiffy time, then everyone's level gets elevated. But, WrestleMania, my first time dancing with the big stage, and I proved that I could do it. I proved why I belong. And tonight, I have to defend my championship in a one-on-one rematch against the former champion, Stephanie. So I don't know how this transfer window is going to work for champions, but one thing I do know for sure is that after tonight, when the little inaugural champion has to go up and wrestle on Tiffy time, I'd be too embarrassed to show. I'd be begging SmackDown or ECW to take me, just to get away from me after what I'm about to do to her. That's when Alexa walks into frame and she goes, Tiffy! I don't stress, I'm actually here to congratulate you on becoming the Intercontinental Champion. I am. I really am. And this is something I've been toying with in my brain, but I think I'm actually gonna say it out loud now. I think it sounds a lot better out loud, and maybe once I say it and get it off my chest, I'll feel better about myself. I'm glad you won. If I couldn't win the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, I'm so glad it was you, Tiffany. She sort of looks at Mariah and Anne-Marie and goes, well, thanks, Alexa, but ew. She goes, because now you've got that championship, I can't wait to be the one to rip it away from you. You know, if Stephanie doesn't do it first. And then the match continues, or goes off. Stephanie Stratton makes her first defense of the championship against Stephanie Vaquer. Coming up next, will she keep a hold of the belt? 78. Yes, of course she does. You know, Dominic, last year lost the Intercontinental Championship on the Raw after WrestleMania, but that's because I got a punishment. But, Tiffany, she's keeping the belt. And yeah, I just wanted to get this rematch done because they are both going off in different directions. So, I didn't want that loose end, hovering over it. So yeah, Mariah May helps Tiffany Stratton pick up the victory to make defense number 1 of the Intercontinental Championship. 87 for Steph, 76 for Tiffany. So yeah, nice win. And Tiffy celebrating with the crowd, holding up her championship when she's dropped once again by Alexa Bliss. And yeah, Alexa stands over Tiffany. She sort of looks down at the championship and then just leaves. But yeah, it looks like we're going to have one more match between Tiffany and Alexa, and this time it's for the Intercontinental Championship. We then cut to Becky's locker room. It's empty, and the door opens and in walk Kelly and Billy. And they sort of awkwardly look around. Kelly goes, wow, she really isn't here. No one's heard from her since WrestleMania last night, and she's really not here. And then Billy goes, hey, what's this? And she reads a note that's been left on the table. And Kelly's like, what is it? And Billy goes, it's from Becky. She's like, what does it say? Billy's like, dear Kelly and my Stargirl, if you are reading this, then I am dead. I leave to you this locker room. Please take care of it, and let the Becky Stardust spirit live on within you both. Since I truly found myself last year, all I wanted was to be a good role model to you and to Lyra. But I realize now that I made some mistakes along the way. It's all my fault, and I'm sorry. I shouldn't be the one to tell you how to live your lives and mold your careers. Billy, you're 20 years old, the world is at your feet, and Kelly, you never even liked me. After WrestleMania, I let you down. I let my fans down, and I let myself down. And if I can't be Becky Stardust to the best of my ability, then what am I really fighting for? I let everything get to my head. Success, championships, family, fans, all of it. And that's what kills a person. You think you want this superstar life, but until you live it, you never know that you don't want that. You two won't hear from me from a very long, long time. You may never hear from me again. And as I pour my heart out to you both, it is with one request that I leave you. You don't have to accept it, if you don't wish. Keep that fire. Keep that spirit. Shine brighter than ever before. My new killer stars. Love you to the universe and back. Becky Stardust. And Kelly's sort of like, aw. And it says, P.S. Tell Kelly to keep the ring gear. It makes her look really hot. Really hot. Confusingly hot. I have 2 children and a husband at home, and seeing Kelly like that makes me wonder, okay, we'll stop reading this here. Wow. So she's gone, huh? And Kelly sort of puts her hand on Billy's shoulder. She goes, well, you heard what she said? Or read what she said? We gotta keep fighting. Lyra's gone. Becky's gone. But we're still here. What do you say, Stargirl? Wanna go kick some ass? And Billy sort of smiles and goes, damn right. R-Truth, he makes his way out to the ring, singing and dancing with the crowd here in Vegas. And he gets into the ring, and he awaits his opponent here tonight on the Raw after WrestleMania. And that man is all ego, Ethan Page. He comes out, ego, all of it. You know, crowd pops for him, you know, because we're in a smarky crowd. They know the NXT guys, they're expecting NXT guys. And all ego does pick up the victory over R-Truth. His first match here on Monday Night Raw. 63 for Ethan Page and a 58 for R-Truth. Page scoring 63s right off a rip is really good. You know, he's got like 40 odd pops, so he's actually, overperforming. But yes, Ethan Page is here. I knew he was coming up here for a while. I've got stuff for him to do. You know, he'll be a great addition to the Raw roster. And it's about time. Some of the people I've called up before him. But here he is. Monday Night Raw gains Ethan Page. Which I guess is technically a transfer window thing, because he, you know, transferred from NXT to Raw. But, you know, yeah. I don't want to just do, like, brand swaps tonight. I want to at least bring up one NXT guy, and here he is. Speaking of NXT, we see Trick Williams, you know, backstage, pacing around, frustrated at himself for not winning that Andre Battle Royal. And then we hear Carmelo Hayes, he goes, "Yo, Trick." And Trick sort of stops, and Melo walks into frame. And he goes, "You thought about what we said?" And Trick sort of just looks around. He goes, "Yeah, I thought about it." Melo goes, "What do you say?" And Trick just leans in, he goes, "I'm in." And then Gunn goes, "Great. Come on then. I'd love to, you know, get you all introduced properly." And then they walk off together. But yeah, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams seemingly reunited over something. We then cut back to Bobby Roode in his office when ZSJ walks in. He goes, "Sup, Bobby?" He goes, "Hello, Zach. Can I help you?" He goes, "Yo, listen, I know I'm not supposed to be here tonight, but, you know, I don't know how this transfer window bollocks is working, but I think, like, I can show up here and, you know, pitch to you why ZSJ should be Monday Night Raw's next superstar." Bobby goes, "Well, Zach, I have been a big fan of yours for a while, but, you know, we do have a lot of people here on Raw, you know, looking to break through. So, you know, what do you bring that stands you out from the pack?" He goes, "What do I bring? I'm the greatest technical wrestler on this roster, okay? I bring expertise, I bring precision, I bring technicality, all of it. Stuff that Monday Night Raw doesn't have, but stuff that Monday Night Raw can soon have if you bring me in. Hear what I'm saying?" He goes, "Well, Bobby, well, Zach, there's somebody else currently on the Monday Night Raw roster who's looking to blow off some steam tonight, so I say if you want to prove your worth here on Monday Night Raw, we'll give you a little tryout. And we'll see how you get on tonight, and if you perform well and I'm impressed by you, then maybe next week we can talk about bringing you to Monday Night Raw." That goes, "Great. Just let whatever dickhead know that wants to step to me out there. I'll twist him up like a pretzel, okay?" And then Bobby's like, "Yeah." And then Zach walks off. So as ESJ, you might be getting a few of this, like guys from one brand coming over to another brand to try and pitch, you know, a swap of brands. It lets me sort of low-key fuck with the brand split for a number of weeks and, you know, get TV matches that I don't normally get to book while the brands are still being finalized, instead of, you know, just running the same matches that I always run. So yeah, ESJ's having a match on Raw later on tonight. But first, out comes Seth Rollins. And, you know, he comes out, he's his serious self. He's not laughing and dancing, but because he's very frustrated. Crowd's still serenading him in chants, but Seth looks angry. He looks defeated, almost. And he has a microphone in his hand. And he says, "Can you guys not, please? For once, I don't want you to sing my song." "I feel like I owe you guys an apology. Last night, I was in the main event of WrestleMania. Last night I had the chance to become WWE Champion once again. I had the chance to defeat CM Punk. And I had the chance to put an end to his antidote and his bizarre power trip here on Monday Night Raw. And that didn't happen. 10 years ago, I became a legend in this industry. I created one of the greatest moments in the history of WWE. The heist of the century. And that became, synonymous with Seth Rollins over the years. So you'd think I'd have seen it coming. Now I saw Chad out here earlier on tonight bragging about it. He's got every right to do so. He outsmarted us. And now Chad Gable gets to reap the rewards. If there's one person who can't be mad at what Chad Gable did at WrestleMania, it's me. So I'm not mad at Chad Gable. I'm mad at myself. Because despite what Chad Gable did, I should have still had that fire inside to come out on top. But I did not. Now over the years, I've done a lot of things here in WWE, and whether you've loved me or you've hated me, you guys have been there with me. You've seen every single thing I've gone through on this crazy journey. And for the first time in my career, I looked at myself in the mirror when I woke up this morning. After I lost, and I said, what's next for Seth Rollins? And I didn't have an answer. But one thing is for sure. I'm gonna keep proving why I am the greatest superstar here on Monday Night Raw. I'm gonna keep proving why I belong as WWE Champion, why I will one day scratch and claw my way back to the top, why I will save this place from any outside threats, because this is my company, this is your company, we are all Monday Night Raw. I am Seth freaking Rollins. And this place may have finally been cured of one cancer. But you never know when another can walk down that ramp. Out comes Roman Reigns. He aura farms his way down to the ring. Seth looks like he's seen a ghost the second Roman's music hits. He pulls shocked face as Roman's music hits and he walks out on stage, shit-eating grin on his face, Heyman by his side. And he gets into the ring. And Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns have a face-off. Crowd's going fucking crazy. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. You see, we've had a break from Shield lore in this game for a while, so this would actually be cool rather than, over-relying on Shield chair bullshit. Because you're overdoing Shield lore like they are in real life if I'm bored of it, because I eat that shit up. Like, that's my favourite kind of slop. Like, yes please, delicious. But, not when it comes at the expense of Sammy potentially being WWE Champion. But I'm rambling. Anyway, Roman's here. He gives that Roman Reigns smirk. And Seth just glares a hole through him. And Seth leaves the ring. And Roman just stands there, aura farming, looking around the crowd as they sing Roman Reigns. Heyman picks up the mic. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen. With one man out of this ring, thinking he runs Monday Night Raw, I must deliver bad news to him because his worst nightmare has come true. CM Punk may no longer be Seth Rollins' problem, but I know one man who may well be the newest member of Monday Night Raw, your tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Big pop. Roman's on Raw. You know, after he won the Bloodline War game, or Bloodline Civil War, you know, he made it abundantly clear, you know, he was done with ECW. And, you know, this is like when, in a transfer window, when a big player wants to leave their club, you know, he's the Alexander Isak of ECW, basically. So, they had to get him off the show. But he's here on Raw, and he's already faced off with Seth Rollins. You know, no words exchanged between the two of them, just a look. But Roman Reigns is on the Raw roster. 58-rated match. Sure, two local girls, Johnny Robbie and Laura James. Laura James was rusty, that doesn't matter. The ratings of the jobber girls don't matter. Just a nice win for Kelly and Billy. The team of New Killer Star, which, like, fell directly into my hands without me realizing, because New Killer Star is the name of a Bowie song that I didn't know existed, but also, you know, Killer because Killer Kelly, and Star because Star Girl. So when I googled, I was like, oh, Star Killers, or like Killer Stars, it literally said song by David Bowie, and I went, well, there you fucking go, that's their team name. So yeah, Kelly and Billy gonna continue on as a tag team, sort of like keeping the Becky Stardust spirit alive, except they're not, you know, as outlandish as Becky, but, you know, keeping that aesthetic sort of thing around. And yeah, they get a win. Billy pinning Laura James with Love Missile F111, which is the name of the other song on the New Killer Star single. Like, it had a double side. So that, yeah, Law. It's 45 for Billy, 71 for Kelly, it's 26 for Laura James, and a 35 for Johnny Robbie. Sure. But then cuts to the Antidote's locker room. And everyone's in there, including Punk. And, you know, there's a solemn mood over the locker room. You know, despite Cora and Roxy still being the tag team champions, despite Lyra winning at WrestleMania, despite Bronson and Ace Austin and Chris Bay winning at WrestleMania, does that all really matter because CM Punk lost? But yeah, Punk is there, and, you know, Roxy's the first person to try and speak, and she goes, you know, Punk, how you? And then he sort of like shuts her up. He goes, so Chad Gable has my championship, huh? Seth Rollins has no idea what's next for him, huh? Well, good, I'm glad he's feeling pain too. But girls, boys, I have some things I need to get off my chest tonight, and it's fitting that we're in Las Vegas, because this is the very city I had a lot of things to get off my chest last time. But what I need you all to do is stay in the back. This is CM Punk business. This isn't Antidote business. And then he sort of just walks off and leaves. And then they all sort of like nod their heads like, huh, well, weird. That's like WrestleMania. 90 rated match. Yeah. ZSJ is definitely impressed with this performance. Against LA Knight. Yeah. That's who he wants. Just a nice little match. ZSJ versus LA Knight. LA Knight does pick up the win, but of course ZSJ gets a 94 and the match gets a 90. So yeah. That's definitely a good showing, you know. If I were Bobby Roode, I'm not, clearly, but if I were, I'd pick him up. I'd consider signing him to Raw for that. But yes, LA Knight with a nice little win after he lost to Logan Paul at WrestleMania. 82 for LA Knight, 94 for ZSJ. And after the match, he grabs the mic He goes, let me talk to you. Zach, before you leave, I may not like you. I may think you're a bit of a douchebag, but man, do I respect you, because what a fight you gave me tonight. Dare I say, a hell of a lot better than the fight I was given at WrestleMania. You see, I'm an honest man. I won tonight, but I beat a much better competitor than the competitor I faced off with at WrestleMania that I lost. You see, Logan, all this time, I was running my mouth on you. All this time, LA Knight was smacking his lips up and down, slander coming out every single way towards your direction. And I thought maybe, just maybe, if there's a little tiny bit of manhood in those little testes you've got, you'd want to take some of my words to heart and prove to the world that you do belong here in WWE. You do belong in the bright lights at WrestleMania. And sure, you're going to come out here next time you're here and say, well, I do belong, LA Knight. I beat you. You got lucky. You call it the one lucky punch because you got that titanium right hand wrist and you still need your brass knuckles. And sure, my jaw's still a little bit hurt. I can see why your boxing career is going a hell of a lot better than your wrestling career is. Oh wait, no it isn't. So here's what we're gonna do, Logan Paul. You want to put brass knuckles in my face, huh? Well, I got plenty more. Where'd that come from? If you want to go band for band with LA Knight, I can go band for band because I'm a pissed off son of a bitch after what you did to me. A WrestleMania defeat to Logan Paul, that's on my record for life. I can't get rid of that. But what I can do is get rid of you. So Logan Paul, wherever the hell you are, because apparently you're too busy to stay in Las Vegas one more day, let it be known, this between me and I is far from over, and it won't be over until LA Knight sends Logan Paul back to the little begging bowl where he came from. Yeah. That's when some random man with a suit sort of just walks out. And he gets into the ring and he taps Ed on the shoulder and goes, who the hell are you, dummy? Get out of my ring. He just hands him a contract or something, or like an envelope. He goes, thank you, Mr. Knight. And I sort of just looks down and he goes, the hell is this? And yeah, we don't see him open it. He's just confused. He takes it to the back. As you know, he does open it, but we don't know what it says. And then he immediately storms to the back, like he's ready to kick off at somebody. But then, speaking of angry people who are about their WrestleMania loss, Rhea Ripley. She's pacing around backstage angry, in some hallway. She lost. Says, you know what? Bianca, congratulations, okay? Congratulations, you managed to get the victory that I couldn't get. But this place, this whole company, there's a lot of people gunning for that championship, and just because you won at WrestleMania doesn't mean my chase to become a world champion is over. Okay, because sooner or later, Mommy will be a world champion once again. That's when Tay Patrick runs and goes, Mommy! Mommy, look. Listen, Mommy, I know you're sad. Okay, but listen, I'm sad too. Like, we could have both been champions. You and I. Mommy and Tatum. You was the WWE Women's Champion, me as the Intercontinental Champion. It would look great, okay? And we could have been together with our championships on little double dates. But I came up short, Mommy, and I'm glad I didn't disappoint because you also didn't come up short. You also didn't win your championship and you came up short and you disappointed me first. And Rhea's like, excuse me? But now WrestleMania's done, Mommy. We can rekindle this. Our relationship. I spoke to Bobby Roode, okay? And I got us a tag match next week. Rhea goes, you what? She goes, you seem angry. Me and you, Mommy, against Tegan Knox and Piper Niven. Next week on Raw. And Rhea just rolls her eyes and goes, let me go talk to Roode. She walks off. Because, would you please think about it, Mommy? I think it would be great. It'll be great. It'd be great to finally have friends again. John Cena makes his way to the ring. And he gets the mic. He says, Las Vegas, it's been an honor. 24 hours ago, my theme song hit, and I ran down the ramp at Allegiant Stadium for my final ever WrestleMania. And I was the Intercontinental Champion. And for a while, it almost looked like maybe John Cena's final WrestleMania was not to be. It almost looked like the roster here in WWE that I had praised as being ready to move on without me perhaps wasn't so. But then I got my challenge answered. Not by anyone who I thought was on this roster, but by somebody else. By an outsider. Not by a future rising star, but by an all-time great from another country. John Cena versus Kazuchika Okada. A match people never thought they'd see. But on John Cena's retirement tour, all we're doing is delivering matches you never thought you'd see. Now I know Okada has a match later on tonight. And he's defending his Intercontinental Championship. My Intercontinental Championship. And which leads me to the next question they're all going to ask. What's next for John Cena? Because when this retirement tour started, I had 2 goals I wanted to get done on my bucket list before I called it quits. 1. For the first time in my career, John Cena is the Intercontinental Champion. 2. John Cena becomes the record-breaking 17-time world champion. These past 4 months, with that championship and those open challenges, I faced many of the roster. I was here almost every single week. I put in the work, and I hustled. But that chapter of the retirement tour is over. It's time for page number 2. And that's my loyalty. Because I've been here for damn near 25 years. And this place owes it to me to give John Cena one more shot at destiny. You people want to see John Cena get one more shot at destiny. You people want to see John Cena become the 17-time WWE champion, and I will do it not just for myself for this retirement tour from my bucket list, but for everybody around there who's been loyal to me, who's stuck by me all these years. I'm gonna do it for all of you. So listen up, Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, Jacob Fatu, I don't care which one of you it is, or if anybody else wants to get their hands on those championships before then. Time is running out on John Cena's retirement tour. My time is almost up, no matter what that theme song may say. So I make a declarative statement, I make it now. John Cena will officially be entering Money in the Bank. And I'm going to win Money in the Bank. I'm going to take that contract. I'm going to cash it in at SummerSlam. And I'm going to become WWE Champion. Mic drop. Very clear goal to that by John Cena. He got his eyes set on the WWE Championship. And he says he's going to be in Money in the Bank. Which is 2 or 3 months away. 2 months away. It's in June. So yeah. 2 months away now. But yes, but first, John Cena gets to the back when Bobby Roode bumps into him. He goes, John, congratulations on, your vision for the future. Want Money in the Bank? That's fine. I can give you a spot in Money in the Bank. I just have something I want you to do for me first. So he goes, what is it? Tell me what it is, and I'll do it. He goes, this is probably a better suited conversation for my office where we work out the kinks. And he takes John Cena away. And then as John Cena leaves, we see the patriarchy in the background. Christian glaring a hole through Dominic. He goes, "What did I tell you a week ago, Dominic?" And Dominic sort of looks sad at him. Because I told you to get your head in the game. I told you to keep those championships within the family. And what do? You lose them. You know, this entire time I called you my favorite son. This entire time you were my favorite son. But Lexus, he doesn't disappoint me like you do. And sure, Lexus lost the championship at WrestleMania too, but it's because of you, Dominic, and I'm gonna prove that now. You can stand at ringside while me and my new favorite son show you what real tag team wrestling looks like. Christian, Dominic, and Lexus leave the ring. It's Christian and Lexus King against Idris and Malik, mainly because I want to see how they're getting on. But yes, Christian does pick up the win. Him and Lexus defeat Idris and Malik. Christian pinning Idris and Ove with a kill switch. 65 for Lexus King, 63 for Christian, 57 for Malik Blade, 52 for Idris and Ove. So yeah, Christian and Lexus King pick up the win here tonight. After the match, we cut to Kathy Kelly, who's with the new World Tag Team Champions, Fraxium. Says Fraxium, first of all, I'd be remiss if I didn't congratulate you on your championship victory, but there's no rest for the wicked here on Monday Night Raw. Of course, you're still going to have Path of the Dragon breathing down your neck. You just saw Christian and Lexus King clearly still have their eyes on the championship. Plus, with this transfer window, you never know how many tag teams could come over to Raw. Because indeed, it's very exciting times, Kathy Kelly. But, Kathy, what I will also say is, myself and mi amigo Axiom, at WrestleMania, we beat the greatest tag team of this generation in Path of the Dragon and, the former champions, the Patriarchy. And that comes after, we've had a little bit of squabbling, but I actually think squabbling makes us better, Kathy. All these other tag teams, they have no disagreement. It's almost too perfect in their land, but us, we're human, we have issues, but at the end of the day, we're still friends, and we're still the best damn tag team in this company and on this brand, and these prove it. Now team goes, with Nathan's speed, my precision, Fraxium is more than fine. But things don't seem too fine in the land of the Patriarchy right now. Christian can try and jump between sun to sun all he wants. But, mi amigo, maybe I'll have to look in the mirror one day. We then cut to the ring. Montez Ford, Ora Mensah, and Jakara Jackson are in the ring. And Montez is like, ladies and gentlemen, please get on your feet and raise your applause for the new WWE Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. Out comes Bianca. She's got the championship, Montez Ford greets her in the ring, gives her flowers and something else to celebrate. And he goes, Bianca, Bianca, Bianca. Congratulations on finally becoming champion once again. I knew you could do it. But I will say it's just a shame that it comes at a time where we can't do this together. Because, Bianca, I might as well deliver the bad news first before the good news. I've been talking to Bobby Roode since WrestleMania. And we've both agreed it's probably for the best that myself and Oro, we make our way over to SmackDown. And that's because SmackDown is the land of opportunity. Dawkins, he's not over there to, make my life hell. And more importantly, Bianca, you get to shine on your own like the star you are. You and Jakara together holding this division down while we hold it down over there. So if this is our last night on the same brand together, babe, congratulations. And Bianca goes, well, that's not how I was hoping this championship celebration would be started, but your girl's a champion once again. Now, Tez, before you leave, I could say this to you privately, but I think it's better that the whole world hears it. I couldn't have done this without you. You and I have complimented each other so well over the past year or so, and That's why Wex are so great together. And babe, good luck over there on SmackDown. I'll keep holding it down here on Raw. But as for this division, and then she's immediately cut off by the music of Jade Cargill. And Stokely and Malcolm Bivens even. Because Bianca, we didn't pay to see your marriage take the next step on television, okay? We came to hear from the Women's World Champion, okay? Is that you? Are you the Women's World Champion? Because you damn sure ain't acting like one. 48 hours ago, you won the championship. You managed to somehow wrestle the championship from this big bitch, Jade Cargill. And you're running out here running victory laps about it. And don't worry, I would too. I'd run victory laps if I even had the chance to be stepped on by Jade Cargill. But you did more than that. You stepped over her for one night. For one night, you stepped over Jade Cargill. That's never gonna happen again. And with Rhea's not in the picture, Jade Cargill wants her rematch, and she wants it next week. AJ and Bayley then also come out. Bayley goes, "Oh man, Bivens, do you ever shut up? Like, God, it's been years now, and all you do out here is yap and yap and yap. I don't think anybody's ever asked, hey, I wonder what Malcolm Bivens thinks of this." Okay? And Bivens turns around and goes, "What are you doing out here, okay? I didn't realize we invited the losers convention out here, okay? Because that's what you two are. You're losers." And AJ's like, "Well, I didn't think we invited the losers out here either, but since you and Jade so kindly invited yourself, I guess WrestleMania losers are welcome out here." Because you shut your mouth, AJ, okay? Jade Cargill, this bitch right here, is the former WWE Women's Champion, okay? She has every right to get a rematch. What right do you have to get a rematch for these championships? Bailey goes, "Well, don't know if you've heard. I've sort of a big deal around here. 4 Horsewomen, you might have heard of them. Main event of WrestleMania last year. Won the main event of WrestleMania last year. And I say, we came up short trying to get those tag team championships. Maybe this tag team figure isn't much for me and AJ. Maybe it's singles gold we need to go after." And Bailey just laughs. Goes, "You don't make me laugh, Bailey. You haven't been relevant in God knows how long. Even last year, nobody cared about your WrestleMania main event because they were too busy waiting to see what would happen to Jade Cargill after she got embarrassed by Rhea Ripley, and she's gonna get her revenge on that bitch one time, once and for all. And you, AJ, you've always been overrated. You were the shining light in a bad times for women's wrestling. I mean, look, the biggest women's wrestling star is AJ. A girl shorter than me from New Jersey. Okay? Who ever heard of a women's wrestling superstar from New Jersey?" Out comes Liv. And she's on Raw now. She goes, "Well, last I checked, I'm from New Jersey, and I'm a superstar, Bivens, and I'm going to beat Jade's ass right now, because I've just been speaking to Bobby Roode, okay? And since I'm the newest member of the Raw Women's Division, we agreed we'd find Bianca's next challenger for next week. And we're going to do that right now. It's going to be you, it's going to be me, it's going to be AJ, and it's going to be Bayley in a fatal 4-way match. Now, you can get your bald head out of this ring and let the ladies go to work." So yeah, 4-way. Winner faces Bianca next week for the WWE Women's Championship. Gets an 80. Sure, we'll take that. In the end, AJ pins Bayley to win the match. 16-36. 82 for AJ, 81 for Bayley, 78 for Jade, 78 for Liv. So a lot to unpack here. Liv is on Raw, Montez Ford and Ornaments are on SmackDown, and AJ Lee is the new number 1 contender. She will face Bianca Belair for the WWE Women's Championship next week. Yes, I know she lost at WrestleMania, but it's fine, There's a method to the madness here. I know it's random that her and Bayley are in this match, but just roll with it, okay? Don't ask questions. They're in here because I need them to be in here for next week. But yes, AJ Picks up the win. She pins Bayley, and she will wrestle Bianca next week for the championship. We then cut backstage. John Cena's coming out of Bobby Roode's office. And, like, Kelly takes up and goes, John, got any word on what Bobby Roode spoke about in there? And he goes, I think WWE will announce what was spoken about in that office when the time comes. But, let's just say it's an exciting time ahead. And it involves this man here. And then Panicross and Okada stood there. And he goes, I didn't get the chance to do this last night. So I'll do it now. And he extends his hand out to Okada. Okada accepts Cena's hand. They shake hands. He goes, congratulations. You're the new Intercontinental Champion. WWE's in good hands with a guy like you. Now there's an old foe of yours I need to go meet. And then he walks off. And then we follow Okada out for his match with Jericho. Gets an 80. That's probably all we can expect out of Jericho. But yes, 9 minutes 11, Okada pins Jericho with the Rainmaker in 9-11 to win, or to make defense number 1 of the Intercontinental Championship. 77 for Okada, 69 for Jericho. So yeah, nice win for Big Kazu. Jericho is on Raw. He got that shot of the championship that he wanted at WrestleMania, but it didn't go well for him. Next week, we've got 2 matches set for next week, and they're both women's action. The first, as we just found out, the WWE Women's Championship will be on the line as the new champion, Bianca Belair makes the first defense of her title against AJ Lee, who won that fatal 4-way match earlier on tonight, and tag team match has now been approved by Bobby Roode and Tatum Paxley. As Rhea Ripley and Tatum Paxley will face off against Piper Niven and Tegan Knox, former enemies of Tatum. She gets to revive things with her good friend Rhea to face them next week. We go back to the Antidote's locker room. And, Punk's not out there. He's on his way out to the ring. When Bronson Steiner sort of just looks across at Cora, Roxy, and Lyra. Goes, come on, let's go. And then Ace Austin and Chris Bay are like, whoa, he said to stay back here. And Bronson goes, but, Punk, he's got a lot of enemies out there, and we don't know what he's going to say. So it's probably best if he has some backup. But hey, it's also important that you two stay back here and watch this locker room, in case they try and get back here. And then Ace Austin and Chris Bay sort of look at each other like, sure, I guess, whatever. It's just, it's Punk's orders for us to stay back here. I don't think we should be breaking those. Bronson Steiner goes, it's fine. We'll be fine. But then see Okada, after his match, taking a bottle of water, calling himself up after his victory, when he bumps into Gunther backstage. Gunther, just the last time he goes, congratulations. I've been waiting a long time for you and I to cross paths. At WrestleMania, I defeated one man, one living legend they dare say is the greatest of all time. If you want to cross paths with me, I'll have no problem putting you in your place too. Welcome to WWE, kid. Enjoy it here. And he sort of walks off, and as he does, Ludwig sort of walks past him as well. Sort of like eyes up the IC title, looks back at Okada, sort of just nods his head and walks off. So yeah, Okada already on high alert. People are wanting that championship. Out comes Punk. By himself to start with. But then, as he's halfway down the ramp, Bronson Steiner, Cora Jade, Lyra, and Roxy, sort of catch up to him and, walk out with him. And he sort of, looks confused, I told you to stay back. And they're like, he said to come, it's fine. And Punk sort of shrugs his shoulders. It doesn't matter that much. So, yeah. He gets into the ring. He takes a mic. He sits. He doesn't sit in the middle of the ring, actually. He goes to sit down, but he sort of stops himself. He goes to take the WWE logo off the microphone, but he sort of stops himself and leaves it on. And he goes, I sure hope they've got their fingers on the pulse in the production truck. Because Las Vegas, I have a lot of things to get off my chest. Last night was supposed to be the height of my wrestling career. I finally main evented WrestleMania. And one thing I didn't expect when I main evented WrestleMania is all this pomp and circumstances, because I still thought CM Punk of the past few months was in WWE's bad books. But they sure do like to celebrate CM Punk when it's convenient for them. But, this is going to be the most honest CM Punk you've gotten in a while. Because for the first time since SummerSlam, I don't have that leverage. I've got to come out here and speak from the heart. And to that I have to say, thank you. Thank you to everybody who for 8 years chanted my name. Thank you to everybody who, when I was gone and I could have been forgotten to the barrels of obscurity, you had a voice, and you carried that voice of the voiceless pitchfork with you. You stormed into these arenas. You let the world know who you wanted to see, and who you wanted to see wasn't John Cena. It wasn't Roman Reigns. It wasn't Seth Rollins. It was CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. And that gave me that fire. That gave me that passion. The way that I know this place can be better because I've seen it. I've heard it. I've felt it. And when I had that WWE Championship in my hands, I was walking down to the main event of WrestleMania, and you people, even after everything I did, were still chanting my name, I realized maybe CM Punk's spot isn't a martyr against the people. Maybe CM Punk is a martyr for change with the people. You people never gave up on me, just like I never gave up on my dreams. And I see clearly now more than I've ever seen before. Now I don't have that WWE Championship. Now I don't have this WrestleMania main event looming over my head like a sword of Damocles. I can be honest and say that this place works better when you people tell them in the back what you want to hear. And for years, what you wanted was CM Punk, and you finally got CM Punk. And to steal a phrase from Cody Rhodes, last night, I finished that story. Now, that's where the happy-go-lucky CM Punk ends. Chad Gable, congratulations, kid. You finally got a backbone. You finally realized that WrestleMania is a great place to try and pull one over on CM Punk, when for the first time in my career I was emotionally overwhelmed. You keep that championship. You represent this place all you want. Because I know, they know, it's only a matter of goddamn time till I get my rematch. And this time, I'm gonna be stronger than ever, not because I have Bronson, or Cora, or Roxy, or Lyra, or any of the Ace and Chris by my side, but because I have all these people chanting my name by my side. Why fight the tide when you can rise with the tide? This uprising isn't over, it's only just beginning, and it will continue to be led by CM Punk.
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I've got the looks that drives a girl wild.
Shawn Michaels, of all people, interrupts CM Punk. Punk looks confused as fuck when Shawn makes his way out, and he gets into the ring. Him and Punk sort of just, have a face off. Shawn goes, look, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know it's an important show out here, we're running out of time, and you said you got a lot of things you got to get off your chest. But, Punk, I have some things I need to say to you. And this is the best place to do it right now in Las Vegas. He goes, Shawn Michaels, go ahead. Go ahead, HBK. What have you got to say to the people of Las Vegas? He goes, Punk, I know you and Hunter, over the years, you had some issues. Even as far as last week, you had some issues. But you and I, we've always had a thing of respect. As much as you may, have had heat with my best friend, or supported my harshest rival, I always saw a lot of Shawn Michaels in CM Punk. So, I don't know if Hunter is going to want to hear this. For the last couple of months, it's been refreshing to see a lot of my kids, my NXT standouts, Bronson, Cora, Roxy, Lyra, be taken under your wing, because Punk, you'd be a great person for them to learn from. But Punk, what I come out here to say is that this place, you were right about a lot of things about it. The way Hunter has done a lot of things around here, he's made this place a hell of a lot better for everybody. Not just you and I, but for all the boys and girls in the back. But there are still a lot of things Hunter is doing wrong that even I can see. As his best friend with a wonky eye, even I can see them. And you helping elevate the future generation of WWE. It brought a tear to my eye. I got my smile back, Punk, because of you. But now, I fear I lost it again. 'Cause Punk, I see my children, my NXT superstars, my standouts, standing behind you, and you want to soak in all the glory. And sure, that's the CM Punk way. But you're stringing along all these young kids with you. Because they see you as a martyr. They saw you as this hero who they watched growing up. So, Punk, it's my place to tell you the times here in WWE, they are changing. This will be an uprising here in WWE. We will create a better future here in WWE. But it's not going to be led by CM Punk. And Punk sort of looks confused as Shawn stops speaking, when behind CM Punk rises the new United States Champion, Obafemi. And Punk turns around and he takes that big powerbomb from Obafemi. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams also appear at ringside. They swarm into the ring and they start putting the boots to Punk, Lyra, Cora, and Roxy sort of back away, like screaming in pain. Bronson's like screaming in like fear, like what the fuck's happening to Punk? Bronson Steiner gets in, he tries to like throw hands with Obafemi. He tries to fight off Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. He helps CM Punk to his feet. Him and Punk, stand side by side, getting ready to fight the three men. When Bronson Steiner rips CM Punk in half with a spear as well. And, Shawn Michaels just slid out of the ring. He's just watching on the ring with a smile on his face at this point. And then Bronson Steiner's calling orders. He calls CM Punk back up to his feet. Cora and Roxy approach him. Roxy Perez kicks CM Punk in the balls. He goes down into the arms of Obafemi. Obafemi picks him up, hits him with another powerbomb. Carmelo Hayes goes up top, hits nothing but net. And Shawn, he just smiles again, walks to the back. And, they're wearing their antidote shirts. They, rip them off. And, yeah. This collection of people stands tall to end the Wrath of WrestleMania. Bronson Steiner, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, Obafemi, Roxy Perez, Cora Jade, and Lyra Valkyria. What did we just see? $87. Sure. I'll take that. It was a moment show. I've been recording, like, I will have to cut and edit stuff out because I did take some pauses during the recording. But recording for 1 hour, 18 minutes. That's how much shit we had to pack into this show. Hopefully it was all worth it. There's definitely a lot of exciting shit coming in the couple of months. Let me tell you that. And yeah, I'm genuinely so relieved that WrestleMania is done and I'm finally onto this chapter of this series. Because, like I said, like, I don't want to overhype it, but if, like, I think it is because it took me longer to get to WrestleMania. Like, I've had more time to think about things. Like, I normally, like, on the road to WrestleMania, I'm like, I've got, like, half a SummerSlam card penciled in at this point. Like, now, I know, like, all of the stories heading into SummerSlam, like, almost week by week at this point. And if I can do them justice the way they are in my head, we're in for a fucking wild season, y'all. And that's not even taking into account the comments or the challenges that I haven't, as of speaking at this moment, read, but will have by the time this has been uploaded. But yes, that ends Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. What matters more is what you thought of the show. Do let me know in the comments below. And I guess if we've got a Heat to get through. Oh my god. Heat kicks off with a 77 rated match. Why the fuck was this so good? It's Sol Ruca and Jacy Jayne. You know, in another world, 2 double champions. In this world, 2 young mid-carders looking to try and find their feet coming out of WrestleMania. And Sol Ruca picks up the win. She beats Jacy in 9:49 by pinfall with the Soul Snatcher. 80 for Sol Ruca, 73 for Jacy Jayne. They've got great chemistry. So they scored really highly. Like, that's the highest I think both have scored. Definitely Sol, at least. I don't think Jacy scored a 73 before. But yeah, maybe, like, if they end up on the same... I don't know if they will end up on the same... Actually, I think they might, so I'm not sure. But, yeah, you know, it's something to keep track of. These two apparently work really well together. When they're main eventing WrestleMania in 5 years' time, you know. Sight back to this. But yeah, Sol Ruca picks up the win. She beat her former tag team partner Zoe Stark on Heat last week. She's here again this week. She's sort of putting in the work. She's not in that Ace of Heat role. You know, that the Candice LeRae's and Ruby Riots and Aoi Maikawas of the world have been in previously. That's more so for, like, super workers, whereas I wouldn't say Sol is a super worker. She's just, you know, athletic and, you know, to use the term in a not derogative way, spot monkey. But yes, Sol does pick up the win over Jacy Jayne to kick off Heat. Then they get a 65. Club Venus against 4 NXT girls who I sort of just track their progress. That being Tyra May Steele, Stevie Turner, Jasmine Nix, and Zarya. And here it is, our Club Venus quartet who pick up the win. I believe I called them a trio just a minute ago. No, it's all 4 of them. Victoria Shields. You know, she barely wrestles because Mina does the singles stuff and Kylie and Kenzie do the tag stuff. But, you know, she's here now. I do actually have, you know, they're picking up a win because I have a story for them coming up soon. It's nothing, like, super important. It's just a fun little story that I want to run because I think it would be fun. So, yeah, I want to give them some momentum, all of them. So they win here tonight. Mina, obviously, picking up the win. 46 for Victoria Shields, 58 for Kylie, 62 for Kenzie, 73 for Mina, 59 for Tyra May, 58 for Stevie, 28 for Jasmine, and 45 for Zarya. They get a 59 rated match. They don't seem to click. Chelsea Green and Jada Parker. Jada does pick up the win over Chelsea in 8:48 with the Hypnotic. 46 for Jada, 57 for Chelsea, and of course Chelsea still repping that J-Flow background on her tonight, which, you know, is why Jada wanted this match. But after the match, you know, our interviewer Alicia Sanford, she gets into the ring. She talks to Jada about WrestleMania. And Jada goes, you know, WrestleMania, I should have been the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. I'm not. It's because of that annoying little roach, Mackie, getting all up in my business. So, Mackie, girl, if you're still listening back there, how about it, you and I, next week? Once and for all, we settle this. Meet me in this ring. in 7 days' time here on Heat. No disqualifications, and we can finally end this fighting little war. But we're 1-for-1 right now, and I know I'm better than you, and I can't move on to be the woman I'm destined to be if you're still nibbling at my heels. And then Maki comes out, in Maki ways, says, "Fuck you, let's fight." She storms into the ring, a brawl breaks out between the two, and then, they have to be pulled apart. But yes, next week on Heat, we're going to end Maki and Jada's little rivalry, because they are 1 win apiece. I believe Maki beat her in the Continental Classic, and then Jada got her win back, like a month or so later. But they are definitely one for one. I did look it up before I booked the segment. So yeah, next week, no DQ here on Heat, the main event, Jada Parker, Maki, gonna settle their differences once and for all. And our main event gets an 80. Women's tag team action, Tegan and Piper, they're on Raw next week, but they're on Heat tonight, picking up the win. Tegan pinning Zelina Vega in 14:47 with the Vulture Culture Destroyer. 71 for Fallon, 68, or 71 for Zelina even, 68 for Fallon, 77 for Tegan, and 85 for Piper. I don't know if she's always been scoring that high, but that's nice to see. Yeah. Tegan and Piper, again, another team that I want to have, always keep the momentum going for Tegan and Piper. I'd feel like I've let myself down and them down if they ever, fell off, so I need to always make sure they're booked well. Extra motivation that I don't normally give myself to a lot of people. But yeah, they are factored into stuff for the next couple of months coming up, so it is important they do stay hot. And yeah, with Tegan's new profile picture she's got on here, I don't think that will be an issue. But anyway, that ends Heat. Scores of 76. Yeah, what matters more, that's all you for of the show, mainly of Raw. Do let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for ECW's first show after WrestleMania, where they also have a new landscape. 2 new world champions, new tag team champions. Kevin Owens still the People's Champion, but for ECW it's even bigger because, we saw Paul Heyman here on Raw tonight, so he's not going to be on ECW. We've clearly got a new era of ECW upon us. Let's see what that's all about next time. See you then.